Davis. And the thing about him, tough after the catch. He's hard to bring down, averaging over 19 yards per reception for his career. That's impressive.
You know, the key to this football game in terms of who wins it may be which offense is more balanced. In other words, can Wyoming run it with Len Sexton, and can Todd Doxson throw it for Iowa State?
You're absolutely right. And Len Sexton last week really didn't light it up very much. 3 yards a carry. Last year, though, rushed for over 800 yards and 6 yards a pop. He'll have to get those numbers tonight. Todd Doxson, he's got his man Ed Williams to throw the football to. They have to balance the attack with Doxson throwing the football, which he's capable of doing.
Could be a lot of points on the board tonight. A contrast in styles. Wyoming likes to fling it. Iowa State gets it done on the ground. And there's the big left tackle, Tim Cohn, for the Cyclones, getting ready.
You, and you
have the right to play sports until the cows come home.
You have the right to assemble.
You have the right to be equipped.
You have the right to free.
Become a legend at Iowa State, and his brother Darren seems desperate.
Shock when he arrived in Ames, Iowa, and he had an acute case of homesickness until recently when he got himself a new roommate. For more on that, we go to Lisa Molosky. Lisa.
Thanks a lot, Drew. Yes, Troy Davis has never been happier. Why? Well, because his younger brother Darren is not only his roommate, but his teammate. The last time these two guys played together was back in 1993 at the Florida Class 5A State High School football title game. In that game, Darren, a sophomore, scored 4 touchdowns. His brother Troy, a senior, added 3 more, and the Miami Southridge High School football team won 69-36. Since that time, Troy has become a legend at Iowa State, and his brother Darren seems destined to follow in his footsteps. He moved up from the number 4 tailbacks position to the number 2 spot right behind Troy, and he is the Cyclones' number 1 punt returner. Coach Dan McCarney says expect to see both Davises on the field at the same time early in the first quarter. And Drew, not only do Troy and Darren look a lot alike physically, they're both 5'8", between 185 and 190 pounds, but their play is very similar. So how do you tell them apart? Well, make sure you remember that Troy is number 28, Darren number 2. Drew?
All right, Lisa, I got that straight. And let me tell you folks, both Troy Davis and Darren Davis recruited by every major power in the country, and they end up in Ames, Iowa, playing for Iowa State. Good for Dan McCarney. Let's check the team must for the University of Wyoming, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Dave.
Well, the first thing, Drew, they have to do is be physical. Iowa State's going to try to play smash-mouth football. They can't be intimidated. Red zone execution. Weedle, he had 6 field goals last week. That tied his school record. Got to put it in the end zone, though. Don't settle for field goals, touchdowns. Diminish Davis. You have to be disciplined defensively, a gap responsibility, prevent the cutback, and then gang tackle him.
And for Iowa State, Dave, what do they have to do?
Well, they got to feed the frenzy. This is just about a sellout crowd. Let the emotion carry them. Play relaxed. Let the crowd be the 12th man. Harass Harris, and what we have to do there is reroute him off the line of scrimmage. Don't let him release clean. Bracket him, and then make him pay when he catches the football. Punish him a little bit and control the clock. That means the line of scrimmage. Run the football. Limit the opportunities for the explosive Wyoming pass attack.
There is Corey Weedle, one of the better kickers in the country. He had 6 field goals last week as Wyoming knocked off Idaho 40-38. This is the opener for Iowa State. Wyoming with that win under their belt. There's Troy Davis, number 28, the man they want to handle the football back deep in the middle. His brother Darren around the 10-yard line. Also back deep is Kevin Wilson. And this is in the direction of Troy from the 1. And he bounces his way through a couple of tacklers to the 25, and right off the bat, you get an idea of how tough and strong he is at 5'8" and 190 pounds. The quarterback for Iowa State is a senior. His name, Todd Doxson. He may be the best athlete on the team. He was originally recruited by Jim Walden as an option quarterback. But he has the ability to throw it, and he'll be asked to throw it more this year.
Tell you, the guy runs a 4.5 40. I mean, he's legitimate. When the play breaks down, Drew, he can get some things done because of his foot quickness as well as his arm strength.
Big offensive line, traditional here at Iowa State. Deep in the eye, offset eye is Davis. He gets the carry, and Davis crawls for about 3 or 4. Let's check the skill guys for the Cyclones in red. Of course, Troy Davis, and in front of him leading the way will be Joe Parmentier. And watch Ed Williams. He's a very gifted wideout. One of the better wideouts, in fact, in the new Big 12. And up front, Tim Cohn. He's terrific at left tackle, 6'5", 307, a senior. Second down and 6, and here's a big opening for Davis. He'll get it to the 40-yard line. First down, Iowa State. Wyoming defensively plays a 4-3. Pat Larson and Brent Lew, the most experienced up front. Hansen and Leonard are new. A linebacking crew, Talich in the middle, the leading tackler last year. Jay Jenkins had a huge game last week. Brian Lee, the strong safety, will be asked to come up and involve himself in the running game quite a bit for Joe Tiller's club. First and 10 at the 40 for Iowa State, opening possession. Now Doxson looking to throw it. And it is complete. No, now they say it's incomplete to Jason Grant.
Well, this is something that Iowa State wanted to do. Throw on first down. Throw early. Throw when you want to, not when you have to. And they also want to move Doxson out of the pocket a little bit. Roll him out. Give him a two-way go. Give him a run-pass option. As you can see, good call by the official. You have to have possession, control of the football, and a foot in bounds, and the ball hits the turf. No possession there.
So it'll be second down and 10 for Iowa State. The Cyclones last year went 3-8, which was a huge improvement from the previous year when they didn't win a football game, 0-10-1. They won their opener last year, and very quickly into the football game, the true freshman, Darren Davis, in the backfield with his brother. They go to Troy, misdirection. Troy Davis has 12 more. Flip side of the 50, first down, Iowa State. 27 yards, 3 carries early. That's not bad.
9 yards a pop, almost a first down every time he touches the football. Watch his brother steal the corner. Nice block, seals it up, and Troy Davis bounces it to the outside. That's the thing with Troy Davis. He's got tremendous field vision. Very rarely does he run to the design point of attack. He's going to cut it back, bounce it. Downfield as a receiver, you have to block, and you have to sustain your blocks up front.
It's still both Davises in the backfield. Doxson will roll. Flips it to Darren Davis, and he'll have 7 or 8. So Iowa State wanted to throw the football, mix it up a little bit, keep Wyoming off balance, and on this opening drive, they've been able to establish the pass.
And I think it's great to throw to the Davis brothers out of the backfield. It's like a long lateral. I mean, Roger Craig made this famous, Joe Montana with the 49ers. A controlled passing game. Get the football in the Davis brothers' hands as often as you can. What better way to do it? Little swing pass out of the backfield, isolate him on the perimeter, a big gain on first down.
And they're going to move him all over the place. He lines up to the near side, slot to the top. Second down and 3. Troy Davis gets the call, and he'll have another first down. Puts his head down and gets to the 36. And that's what you love about him. He's not just a dancer.
Oh, as an offensive lineman, Drew, an ex-offensive lineman, I should say now. This guy,
you're big enough to still play. That's all right.
Yeah, this guy is a pleasure to block for, though, because all you have to do is get 5 helmets on 5 defensive helmets, and Troy Davis will make something happen. He'll make his own hole. This guy has got tremendous leg drive. You know, he's maybe a shade under 5'8", but he's pushing 190, and he is nothing but muscle.
Wyoming last week relinquished 38 points, but Idaho did it in the air, not on the ground. Play action, Doxson, got a man, complete. Inside the 15 to the 8-yard line goes Tyrone Watley.
Well, Watley's the guy that they got from University of Pacific. He led Pacific in receiving the last year that they played football. 37 catches, 388 yards last season. And this is what a running game will do for you. The linebackers have to respect the play-action fake. Put it in the running back's belly and take it out. The linebackers creep up in the line of scrimmage. All kinds of room to throw the football for Doxson. Between the linebackers, over the linebacker's head, in front of the safety. A huge cavity there because of the success running the ball.
Troy Davis, and he's going to be bottled up and dropped by Jay Jenkins. The first time Wyoming has stepped up defensively. Jenkins, a 230-pound senior outside backer from Tucson, Arizona.
Boy, what a game he had last week, Drew. 9 tackles, an interception, forced 2 fumbles, recovered another one, sold some popcorn, poured the Coca-Cola, tore tickets. I mean, this guy did it all. Unbelievable effort.
And now he has to look on his wristband. Okay, where am I supposed to go on this particular line?
Yeah, really.
Second down and 12. Iowa State loses a couple. Parmentier back in the game at fullback. They go to Troy Davis, and Davis will get it to the 7. And he goes through the line of scrimmage and puts 2 hands on the football again. Jay Jenkins making the play.
Well, one thing that you have to do as a linebacker is make your reads and pursue. Jenkins reads the play. Really, he's working in space, not blocked at this point in time. The scheme leaves him unblocked. They're playing 8 defenders in the box. There aren't enough offensive linemen to block the 8 people. They have a lot of faith that Troy Davis will break some tackles. Nice pursuit by Jenkins on that one.
Big play here. 3rd down and goal at the 7. Doxson can run for it. And he'll get to the 1. No touchdown. He gets to the 1. That is where the athletic ability and the experience of being a runner comes out in Doxson. Now, if you're Dan McCarney, do you go for 3? Or do you try to knock it in with Troy Davis?
Well, I go for the touchdown because the offensive line's consuming him. But nobody has a responsibility for the quarterback when he runs the football. They don't have a defender on him. Doxson almost lunges it into the end zone. It looks like they're going to go.
They're going to go, but they're going to talk about it. Dan McCarney whistles for a timeout.
I like this call. I think this is something where you establish an attitude for the season. As you start to play against better competition in the Big 12, you have to establish some dominance.
No score. Iowa State on the move. 4th down when we come back.
Dewey Ford does treat you better. Just listen to their customers.
We have kids and we wanted a dependable car that we can sell, and we knew we could trust.
Actually, Dewey really does treat you better. I'm a first-time car buyer and I was nervous about buying the first car. Dewey Ford, I could trust the people there that helped me find a car that I needed, that was safe, dependable, and one that I liked. Dewey treat you better, we do. Dewey Ford. Good night, dear.
Good night, Mom.
Protect your home and family with a security system installed by Strauss Security Systems. The Strauss name has been keeping Des Moines safe with quality locks for over 68 years. And now Strauss provides a total security package. Strauss offers a variety of security options, including a local monitoring service staffed by people who know Des Moines. Call now for a free, no-obligation security review. Strauss Security Systems. We protect the most important people in the world, your family.
There's only one way to do things, the right way. At Imaging Technologies, that means putting the needs of the customer first.
Looking at copier and facsimile needs from the customer's point of view is the only way to do business.
At Imaging Technologies, we'll work with you to help determine the right copier or fax for your business.
If you're looking for the right equipment, backed by the right kind of service, you found the right company.
Imaging Technologies, we mean business.
There's 53-year-old Joe Tiller in his 6th year at the helm of Wyoming, and he figured coming in that, he said, if this were a heavyweight fight, you'd expect Iowa State to come to the center of the ring and try to stare us down, try to intimidate us physically. And so far, 74 yards later on this opening drive, Dave Lapham, he's right.
I'll tell you, they're knocking them around up front, and they're doing everything they want to do. They're running, they're throwing the football in the early downs, they're running it when they want to, and they've taken 4.5 minutes off the clock, controlling the tempo of the game.
4th down and a foot for a touchdown. They go to Davis.
Yep.
And he'll get in. He made a man miss in the backfield. Touchdown, Iowa State.
That's another thing that Troy Davis, by the way, did 16 times last year, 15 of them on the ground, just like that particular play. Now, this play is designed to go off tackle. Watch what Troy Davis does. He bounces it, dips, bounces it to the outside. Now it's speed to burn. A good block on the perimeter. Got the only force person down on the ground. That was Casey Papinga. He couldn't make the play. Davis is inside the pylon. You can't coach speed, and he's got it.
So Iowa State breaks on top. Jamie Cole will be on to attempt the extra point.
You know what was impressive on that drive too, Drew? This is the opener for Iowa State. Wyoming has a game under their belts. No penalties for Iowa State. They were totally composed. They knew exactly how they wanted to attack Wyoming. They sawed wood, went about their business. No first game jitters. They looked fantastic on that first drive.
And of the 75 yards on that drive, 33 of them accounted for by Troy Davis. Jamie Cole out of the hold to Jeff St. Clair.
A nice mix, though. 33 by Davis, and they threw the ball well, too.
He missed it.
Yep.
Cole missed the extra point. The 5th extra point he's missed in a little more than a year. So it's 6-0 Iowa State. That spoils the opening drive just a little bit.
I guess I was bragging on him too early about no mistakes in the opener. Kicker doesn't come through and convert the point after touchdown. I'll tell you though, Troy Davis, this guy set every record as a sophomore that there is to set. Good snap, got the hold down, just pushed it right. You know, that looks like my 7-iron. You know, I mean, I can't hit it at the stick. I always push it right.
It doesn't matter which iron I pull out of the bag. It looks like that.
Right.
We had a chance yesterday to talk to Dan McCarney, the head coach of Iowa State, about his prize running back.
Well, he's fast, he's tough, he's durable, he's strong, he's powerful. He's a quiet leader. He's the toughest, one of the toughest kids I've ever been around, and he has an unbelievable work ethic. And whether that's on the practice field, in the weight room, on the game field, he sets example for the rest of those kids every day when he hits the field.
Dan McCarney on Troy Davis, and there was a time, the first year in fact, 2 years ago, that Troy Davis was in Ames. He literally, I'm not exaggerating, cried himself to sleep every night. He was so homesick, so distraught, he didn't unpack for the first month that he was in Ames.
That's a tough adjustment to make, but obviously he made it.
Janae Jackson, Marcus Brigham back deep for Wyoming. This is Janae Jackson. Nowhere to go. 18-yard line, and that is where Wyoming will have to put it in play. Josh Walwork is their quarterback, 6'4" and 200-plus pounds. Last week, he got off to a great start in his senior year. He threw for 485 yards and 3 touchdowns against Idaho. And now you're going to see a complete contrast because Iowa State likes to run it. Wyoming, they can throw it with the best of them in college football.
Great scheme. They have an answer for everything. If you blitz, they got an answer.
Quickly a waggle and a quick completion. And it's 23, Marcus Harris. We will call his name rather frequently, we imagine, tonight.
Yeah, all he did in the opener was 10 catches for 186 yards. Couple of touchdowns.
The offensive skill people. Brigham gets the start. Again, Sexton will be in there. Suroff was over 100 yards receiving last week. The offensive line, Cyphers, the right tackle, is very good. Might be able to play football in the NFL, they say. 6-yard gain on first down. Now Walwork checking off. Trips to the top, and Brigham moves up. 3-step drop. They're looking for plenty. Out there is Harris. Marcus Harris. Tracy Williams made the tackle, but Wyoming striking quickly.
Well, what you do is they're trying to isolate Harris. They'll find Harris, and you'll find him in a multitude of formation. 3 receivers pressing the field vertically. Harris just runs by people. In fact, if he was led a little bit further, it may have been sayonara to the goalpost, golden goalpost time. This is going to be amazing. Iowa State is going to pound, grind it out. Wyoming will try to get yards in big chunks. Total contact.
This could be one of those whack scores before we're done. Slot to both sides. 6-0 Iowa State. Wyoming at the +42. Suroff in motion. They haven't run it yet. They got a screen set up. Marcus Brigham with blockers in front. Brigham caught from behind at the 33-yard line. He was dropped by Bill Marceau and Greg Schoen. Here's the defensive alignment, an even front for Iowa State. Ruffalo and Schoen have played the most football. It is a very green defense for Iowa State. In fact, only one senior on the defense. The linebackers, they're all new, much bigger than last year. Birchka is a redshirt freshman from West Des Moines. And Mike Linkavage, the free safety, good player. He is the only senior. Now they give to Brigham. He'll have the first down to the 29-yard line. We want to welcome our viewers in the New York metropolitan area, the tri-state area, Connecticut and New Jersey. With Dave Lapham and Lisa Molosky, I'm Drew Goodman. We're in Ames, Iowa tonight as the Big 12 meets the WAC, the expanded WAC. And Iowa State took the opening drive, went 75 yards, missed the extra point. So they lead Wyoming 6-0, but the Cowboys threatening already. They're at the 29, 1st and 10. And Walwork perfect early, 3 of 3. It's still Brigham in the backfield. Toss sweep, here's a reverse. With the football's Richard Peace. And he gets 7 or 8. Not a bad job defending that. Staying at home was Linkavage, the free safety.
I'll tell you what, though, Wyoming, they're taking every bullet out of the chamber. They're firing their cannons early. They're throwing the football all over the football field, and then a little misdirection play, trying to get Iowa State to over-pursue, a reverse down the football field. If the big offensive lineman who released down the field could have gotten his defender on the turf, if he could have gotten Linkavage on the turf, Jay Korth, it might have gone the distance.
Walwork rolls, throws, complete, and down at the 9-yard line, that is Suroff, the senior from Beverly Hills, California. You don't get to say that too much. He's originally from Iran. That's where he was born. Suroff's a good football player, and Walwork is 4 of 4. It is 1st and goal at the 9 for Wyoming.
Well, Suroff, he had last week, he had 127 yards on those 6 catches, averaging over 21 yards a pop. He had a 55-yard reception, longest play of the day for Wyoming last week.
They go to Brigham, and he'll get a couple. Stepping up was Derek Clark, the 240-pound junior from Livermore, Iowa. He's one of those new linebackers. Last year, Dave, they said their linebackers were about 200 pounds. And Dan McCarney said, we have to get bigger and more physical.
And they have. I mean, they were 195 to 205 at the inside linebacker position. Total mismatch, particularly in last year was the Big 8. Can you imagine Nebraska pounding those guys? Now there are 230-pound guys that can run.
2nd and goal at the 7. The roll, pressure coming, end zone shot, touchdown to Suroff. Wyoming ties it at 6. Josh Walwork. Well, we saw the running game of Iowa State, and Wyoming undaunted. They said, hey, we can throw it, and we'll get it down the field.
And they can throw it. Their scheme is as good as anyone's. They spread the field, and they do a lot of window dressing. They run motion to change their formations to get the matchups they want. The backside guard pulls, personal protector for the quarterback, gives them a run-pass option. Excellent route, run to the corner of the end zone by Suroff. The extra point miss could be huge in this game.
Corey Weedle, who has missed 1 extra point in his career and only 4 field goal attempts. He is a weapon. He's just not another guy who goes out on the field, kicks it soccer style. So Wyoming, courtesy of that extra point, with the 1-point advantage.
Southwest Airlines employees demonstrating once again that you can have fun and still do a great job.
Together we are better than we could ever be alone. We'll be a team forever. The world is ours to own. You're a part of me, the heart of me. Dr. Pepper, you're a part.
Steve Young for Power Bar.
If you wanted to create a source of energy that was as healthy, nutritious, and low in fat as this Power Bar energy bar, here's what you'd have to do. Start with real fruit and other natural sweeteners. Add grains for complex carbs. Put in a whole bunch of important vitamins and minerals, and top it off with a splash of protein. Then you have the energy top athletes and active people rely on to perform at their best. Personally, I think you'd be better off buying a Power Bar.
Big 12 Conference Football is brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler, by Power Bar, fuel for optimum performance, and by Southwest Airlines with low fares on every flight, every seat, every day. Josh Walwork, opening drive for Wyoming, picking up where he left off last week. 5 of 5, 68 yards, and the little flip into the end zone to David Suroff.
I tell you, it doesn't get any better than that. This guy makes great decisions. He finds the open man, and they get rid of the football so quickly, Drew. 3-step drop, it's gone. Waggle, roll the quarterback out, it's gone. The cornerbacks, there's going to be a lot of pressure on them to make some plays this afternoon, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a track meet for Wyoming, and it's going to be field events for Iowa State, just trying to pound it in there a little bit.
Jason Grant back deep, this time not Troy Davis. Weedle kicks it 5 yards deep. Grant will take a knee. So Iowa State, trailing by 1, will have the football at the 20-yard line. This is a rejuvenated program under Dan McCarney. There's new enthusiasm here. They have a brand new, gorgeous facility, a Jacobson Athletic Building that they're dedicating tonight. And for the first time, if you've ever seen Iowa State play football before, it's always been on that carpet, Dave.
Right.
And now they have natural grass.
I'll tell you, more and more college teams are doing it, and I think it's the smartest thing in the world to do. Protect the athlete's knees.
Amen to that. Troy Davis, the lone setback, over 2,000 yards last year. Here's a little waggle. And now Doxson will look to throw it. And a pretty good job coming up by Jay Jenkins. He's everywhere.
He's a great athlete. He closes. He's got the good closing speed. And I'll tell you, Doxson has got tremendous feet. Man, he's got the old jackhammer feet going for him pretty well tonight. Little run-pass option once again. Iowa State getting a little bit of a rhythm, though, throwing on the early downs, throwing on first down. They might want to disrupt that trend a little bit.
Doxson, 1993, got through the year okay. 94, a little banged up last year. He had an ankle, he had a shoulder. This is a guy that's taken a beating, but used to be an option quarterback, so he's used to a physical style of football. 4-year starter. Doxson goes draw, and Davis met in the hole at the 21-yard line. And leading the way, Pat Larson. For more on the natural surface here, let's go to Lisa Molosky. Lisa?
Thanks, Drew. Yes, you talked about the new grass field that was put in about 2.5 months ago. Now, this is called Kentucky bluegrass. If you can believe it, it was grown in southern Iowa. It is cut to 1.5 inches. Now, Troy Davis grew up playing on Bermuda grass, so this might be a little bit slower, but so far, he's having no trouble at all. Drew?
No, I'd say he's just fine.
I'd say he's okay.
3rd down and 9. They need the 30-yard line. Doxson has to get to the corner, and he's going to slide down, I believe, shy of the 1st down. Brian Lee, we highlighted him a little bit off the top. The strong safety came up and forced Doxson to the ground before he could get to the sticks.
Yeah, this is Doxson made a decision. He's right over here in the corner is where the strong safety is. He reads pass, drops into his zone. Once the quarterback decides to run the football, closes, makes a play on it. And I tell you what happened on that particular play, even though they did get the 1st down, was there a penalty at the end of the conclusion of that? I took my eyes off the football field.
What I was going to tell you is that's the worst spot I've ever seen.
Man,
he got an extra yard on that spot.
Yeah, he dove well short of the 30-yard line.
Has Jackson in at fullback, and they go to Troy Davis. He makes it happen on his own. He'll cross the 40-yard line and run out of bounds at the 43. Is he special or what? J.P. Williams ran him out. Troy Davis had nothing doing where the play was designed to go.
I tell you, and an extra lineman basically is the fullback, and big number 43 in the red jersey, Jackson, leads it up in there. And once Davis sees the corner sealed, he bounces it to the outside. This is an honorary hog right here. 43, boom. He collapses the outside. Williams with a crackback block, and Jackson finishes it off, and Davis is off to the races. A lot of green grass to take advantage of there.
Now Jackson comes in motion, heads back the other way. Three-step drop. Instead, Williams, who will stretch the sticks again to the 45-yard line of Wyoming. Back and forth we go.
And really, Iowa State is winning the time of possession. I mean, their first drive took a lot of time off the clock. They want to end the quarter with the football right now. They'd like to go on another 7 or 8 minute drive, put it in the end zone, and kick the extra point. Ed Williams' numbers last year, 46 catches. Now that's with Troy Davis rushing for over 2,000 yards, 46 catches for over 600 yards and 7 touchdowns. Pretty productive.
No penalty flags in this game.
Yep.
We like that. Davis, and this time they get him around the line of scrimmage. Good job defensively by Wyoming, preventing him from bouncing. Chuck Polson, backup middle backer, also Brian Lee in there again, the strong safety.
Yeah, you got backup middle linebacker on the outside, playing their gap responsibilities well. Look at everybody slant to the gaps and control their men as Davis bounces it, nowhere to go, good pursuit. Decent job by Wyoming of capturing the line of scrimmage. Iowa State's big offensive line has to keep their shoulder pads square and not allow the penetration into the gaps that Wyoming got on that play.
Darren Davis in the backfield now in the staggered eye. They give it to Troy. And this one stretched out again. Great job by Jeff Leonard, the left side defensive end. He got rid of his man, Dave, and made the play on Davis.
Yeah, he was matched up with DeBazzi, tight end, and that's a tough matchup right there, and he just obliterated it. Jeff Leonard, a defensive end, working against the tight end, and the tight end just tried to stretch the football field, didn't get any push down the field, though, get pushed backwards. Troy Davis couldn't make a cutoff of that block.
Darren Davis, the lone setback. Troy Davis out of there. 3rd down and 10. Doxson sets up the screen to Davis. He's got room. Oh, what a play. Great tackle defensively by Lee Vaughn, and a flag is down as well. Lee Vaughn, the senior from Cheyenne. What a marvelous defensive play.
And I think you're going to have an illegal block possibly in the back by Watley out in the flat. I mean, I didn't think Davis took advantage of that block all that well. Excellent. Yeah, and it's an illegal block in the back by Watley as he's trying to recover up. He's trying to come back and make a play to recover and make a play to throw a block by. Watching the top of the screen, 21 in the red, pushes in the back. And Davis cuts right into where he's pushing him. He didn't make that read very well, but just what an unbelievable defensive effort right there. Lee Vaughn sells out. He's pushed in the back by Watley, still makes a play. I tell you, that's a gold star on the forehead right there.
And Lee Vaughn did not have a great week last week. He gave up a couple of touchdown passes. He's one of the better corners in the WAC. Last week, Wyoming gave up 4 TD passes. What, Dave, last year? 8 touchdown passes all season long?
8 total. Yeah, they gave up 50% of their total in the opener.
Mark Harris back deep, and Marcus Harris. Mark Harris to Marcus Harris, the All-American, back at his own 10-yard line. And this one is going to be down inside the 5-yard line at the 2. So Mark Harris, the all-time leading punter in Iowa State history, boots at 40 and a net of 40. It's 7-6 Wyoming. They'll have the football when we return to Ames, Iowa.
No one does it better than the downtown auto dealers. Dealers conveniently located downtown. For your next vehicle, see the downtown auto dealers.
When you need to buy a car, come from north, south, east, or west, say yes, because downtown is the best. Yes, 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 yes.
The best Chevrolet dealership in Des Moines just got better. Bill Jensen's Crescent Chevrolet is proud to announce the opening of their brand new state-of-the-art used car facility at 19th and Ingersoll. Our experienced professional sales team now has a beautiful new home. The on-site service and inspections, the well-lighted lot, and the over 150 exceptional used vehicles make Bill Jensen's Crescent Chevrolet the best place in Des Moines to buy a used vehicle. Stop by day or night to the beautiful new used car facility at Bill Jensen's Crescent Chevrolet.
At Iowa State University, we know it takes teamwork to win.
You have a lot of people that come together towards one major goal, and that's doing what's best for the students.
They make themselves available because they want to help you.
The synergism, the excitement of collaboration, working together, that comes through.
I feel like a cyclone.
Iowa State University, it works.
Wyoming leading Iowa State 7-6, courtesy of a made extra point. They have the football at their own 3-yard line with Lisa Molosky and Dave Lapham. I'm Drew Goodman. And after each team has the football once, that's where defensive coordinators can make changes. As you look at our Dr. Pepper scoreboard, Nebraska rolled today over Michigan State, and we'll see how Iowa State and Larry Coyer adjust to the passing game of Wyoming. Wyoming went 81 yards the first time they had the football. Glenn Sexton in the backfield, and he gets the football. He bounces it outside. He'll have a first down at the 15-yard line. That's a big, big play for Wyoming when you're trapped deep.
Certainly is, and Iowa State was in a defensive configuration to stop the run, and Sexton just does a pretty good job of playing Troy Davis in that he doesn't run at the point of attack. He bounces it away, and that's a good start. And he's got some making up to do after being late for that meeting last night. The head coach not real happy with him, so I'm sure he's got a little incentive to run hard.
He averaged almost 6.5 yards a carry last year, 810 yards. He can get it done. Sexton makes another makes another defender miss, and manages out to the 21-yard line before Tracy Williams could drop him, the strong safety from Spring, Texas.
Now that's way too much on first down again. They got a first down rush, and then they pick up another 7 or 8 yards on the next carry. Sexton last week only 3.3, as Drew mentioned, last year averaging 6.3. Right now he's got like 17, 18 yards on 2 lugs, so he's off to a good start.
Harris, the lone receiver to the top. Josh Walworth changing the play. And he goes to Sexton again. Stood up in the hole. Derek Clark met him, kissed him, and dropped him.
Well, there were 2 things that Coach McCarney wanted to work on last year: running the football and stopping the run. Last year, Iowa State 9th in the country running the football. They did that well. They were dead last in the league stopping the run, though, giving up 296 yards a game. This time, though, they do a pretty good job of separating from the blocks and putting a pop on the football carrier. This is Clark, the junior college transfer, who's upgraded the linebacker position. The 2 areas that have improved most for Iowa State are wide receiver offensively and linebacker defensively, hands down.
Saw a score earlier. The Hawkeyes, the University of Iowa, they won earlier today over Arizona. Good football game. Dan McCarney played at Iowa, and he was an assistant coach there for a long time, defensive line coach for 13 years. Then he went to Wisconsin with Barry Alvarez and was a D coordinator as Wisconsin turned their football program around. He's a very enthusiastic individual, and last year he did a nice job.
I bet last year he wanted to jump out there and play some linebacker himself.
He looks like he might go out there without the helmet on right now. 1st and 10 for Wyoming. Walworth waggles again. Throws it underneath, and this is complete to Suroff. Good effort to get to the 31-yard line, and again, a solid gain on first down. And in fact, Dave, Wyoming has not had a 3rd down in this game.
Yeah, they've been on schedule they're gaining so many yards on first down, and here's what Iowa State's trying to improve upon. As I mentioned, dead last against the run, near the bottom total defensively. They gave up a bunch of points, 38, 39 points a game. Against the pass, they weren't all that much better. It was just a situation where they did not have the athletes. They were just overmatched athletically. They've upgraded a little bit defensively this year, but this isn't a Big 12 conference test for them.
Sexton darts wide. Sexton will have a first down. And he decides to run it out at the 38-yard line. So Sexton's been able to pop through and give Wyoming a little bit of balance.
Well, the defensive coaches for Iowa State thought that Sexton was tough in space, meaning getting to the perimeter, pitching the ball, let him get outside. He's shown a pretty nice ability to pick and choose his hole between the tackles. And once again, an Achilles heel for Iowa State cropping up here. And this is disconcerting to the coaching staff, because now if you give Wyoming a two-way go, you're cruising for a bruising. I mean, you have to shut down the running game and at least make them be one-dimensional.
1:13 left in the first quarter. Walwork perfect so far, and that's his first incompletion. He threw it high. A big hit from Mike Linkavage on the intended target, Greg Kuhn, the tight end.
Greg Kuhn, 257-pound tight end, but you got a courageous safety by the name of Linkavage that had 109 tackles last year, second most in the team. He's going to come up and light him up. He doesn't care if he weighs 257. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. And I'll tell you, quarterback Walwork saying, hey, I can't really throw the ball any better than I just did there.
You know what I think he was upset about? He had two receivers in the same area. Somebody ran the wrong route.
One grenade gets both of them.
Second down and 10, they'll go out of the gun. Walwork all kinds of time. And he'll have it complete. Marcus Harris inside the 35 of Iowa State in front of DeJuan Anderson. And still no third down for Wyoming.
Marcus Harris, he wants to work on running crisper routes. He's got tremendous, look at how big this guy is. I mean, he looks like a tight end, but a nice release. The problem there, no rerouting him off the line of scrimmage. This guy's so big and strong and physical. If you're DeJuan Anderson, you better get your hands on him and at least disrupt his timing. If you give him a free release like that off the line of scrimmage, that big man will kill you.
He's matched up now with Kevin Hudson near side. Sexton looks to find room, and I don't think he'll get near the line of scrimmage. Terry Thomas, Rudy Ruffalo, a couple of defensive linemen scraped down the line of scrimmage and ended that play abruptly.
Iowa State tackle for loss. Basically, this is like a quarterback sack, Drew. It throws them off schedule. Now, this for the first time, they haven't picked up 5, 7, 9 yards on first down. Here it's 2nd and 12, 2nd and 13. Now the percentages shift toward the defense a little bit. When you're looking at 2nd and 3, 2nd and 4, all the odds are in the offense's favor. Let's see how this series unfolds now.
Suroff and Harris to the near side. Slip screen set up, and Sexton caught the football, but in juggling it, lost a yard or two. So Iowa State hunkering down, and Wyoming faced with its first third down of the game with 15 seconds left in the first quarter and leading 7-6.
You know what, though? Wyoming, I don't think they're fearful of this 3rd and long, because basically Iowa State feels it's like a run-and-shoot offense. The receivers and the quarterback make all their adjustments after the snap. They see how the coverage is rotating, if the safeties are rotating to the wideouts, and then they run their routes accordingly. So it's almost like a run-and-shoot. They isolate areas of the field.
They need the 22-yard line. Blitz coming. Walwork gets it away. Incomplete. 72 off the, he wasn't blitzing. He used a D tackle. Bill Marsaw, the redshirt freshman from Hudson, Iowa, applied the pressure.
But the initial pressure right up the gut, and Walwork does a good job of avoiding the blitz, and that was executed pretty darn well by Cooper, linebacker blitzing up the middle, and he disrupts the timing of the whole play, and then the defensive lineman cleans it up, gets his quarterback sacked.
Aaron Langley, confirmation.
Linkavage back deep. Wyoming will punt the football, and Iowa State's not so sure they're going to punt it. Aaron Langley, a sophomore. Brian Draggart was a punter last couple of years. Low snap, and they weren't coming, and he gets it away. And
nice
what a job by Wyoming, smothering the football. Down on special teams for Wyoming is Leave On. That's a great job.
Incredible job. This is
32-yard punt. The first quarter comes to a close. Wyoming leading Iowa State in Ames 7-6. Another Heisman candidate, Marcus Harris, having a pretty good day.
Slow. Everybody okay? Wait a minute, what's he doing? He wants more. Right there. Over there.
Diet Dr. Pepper, the taste you've been looking for.
Jesse, you're next.
I'm all yours.
Save it for the stage, Romeo.
Carol always gives it to me straight. Like when she told me about my...
I told him about Head & Shoulders. Regular shampoos just rinse flakes away so they could come back. Head & Shoulders helps prevent flakes from even forming. You see the difference? You look great.
Thanks, but will it get me this part?
Couldn't hurt.
Head & Shoulders, because great hair can't have flakes.
Hey, break a leg.
Weeknights on the Discovery Channel. Where's the wildest place you could go? What's the cutest you've ever seen? Weeknights. Gather with a gang and see how wild it gets. A different side of a dark continent. Out of Africa on Wild Discovery. Weeknights at 8 Eastern and Pacific on the Discovery Channel. And this fall, the world becomes a wilder place. As Wild Discovery goes 7 nights a week. It would be unnatural to watch anything else.
Haven't had many sellouts lately in Ames, Iowa. They have one tonight, 43,000. And we go downstairs to Lisa Molosky. Lisa?
Well, you've been talking about Marcus Harris. It's the Heisman Watch. This is literally the Heisman Watch. Wyoming using this to promote Marcus Harris. It says, Wyoming receiver Marcus Harris, the one to watch in 96. Inside are his stats. Pretty good promotion. Drew, Dave?
I'm buying into it. He's pretty fair.
He's a great kid, too.
He's a terrific kid. I'm glad you pointed that out. Very well-spoken, outstanding student. I'll tell you more about that later on. This is Troy Davis darting out to the 10-yard line, picking up 5, and it'll be 2nd and 5.
Well, Iowa State, they got to love this, really. You know, usually you think, okay, backed up. But what you want to do is go on a 95-yard drive, take the rest of the second quarter if you can, take 14 minutes off the clock, keep Wyoming's offense on the sideline. The best defense, I think, against this spread the football field, empty backfield type formations of Wyoming is to keep them off the football field. So ball control becomes essential here for Iowa State.
Joe Parmentier, the fullback. In motion goes Ed Williams. And they go to Troy Davis again. Backside pressure coming. And he'll lose a few yards. Stuart Hansen got there along with Jason Dreesen. He tried to cut it back, and there was no room. Good pursuit.
Watch these gentlemen right here on the backside. Watch what they can get done. This is defensive discipline. You can see they're pinching it, they're squeezing it, they're getting up the football field, but they're still in a contained position. They're not over-pursuing, overrunning it, and they all meet in the backfield with Davis. That's good gap responsibility right there on the backside.
3rd and 7, they need the 15-yard line. Dotson goes draw. Davis will have the first down to the 19-yard line. Robbie Duncan, the free safety, had to make the tackle. It's safer than a pass play.
Well, and there you have the safeties, like you said, making the tackle in the secondary. Excellent blocking up front, just collapsing it. You know, you get defensive backs in the box. Brian Brown, a linebacker, trying to make a play. But now you've got the safeties. He's at the safety level, and he is a load to try to bring down. But 3rd and long is not a problem. Let him run the football. He is a stud.
He gets the call again, and he'll get 3 or 4. Everyone you talk to around the Iowa State program, even Joe Tiller, after watching him on film for the University of Wyoming, said this guy gets better in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, he wears people down, Drew. You know, the thing about him, you're in between a rock and a hard place defensively because you want to play your gap responsibility like Wyoming did the play before, but you also want to gang tackle him. You don't want him out there one-on-one against your teammate. So do you pursue and he cuts back on you? Do you play your gap responsibility, your teammates one-on-one? He gets you coming and going. He's tough.
Davis again into the pile for a couple of more. It'll set up 3rd down and 4. Let's check the Southwest Airlines storyline. 7-6 the score. Both teams took their opening possession and marched down the field impressively. Davis had the 1-yard touchdown run, and Josh Walwork was 5 of 5 on Wyoming's opening drive, and he hooked up with David Suroff for a touchdown.
Well, you know, both teams a little bit balanced. Iowa State threw the ball for 50 yards in the first quarter, and Wyoming ran for 4 first downs in the first quarter, so both of them balancing up a little bit.
3rd and a long 2. The throw, complete. That's Tyrone Watley on a little turn-in. Quick slant, first down Iowa State, 40-yard line.
Timing pattern right here, Drew. Doxson gets rid of the football immediately. He takes his quick set, 3-step drop. Watley gets the inside release. The football is delivered on time. Tremendous catch of the football by Watley. You know, sometimes it sounds funny, but he caught it with his hands. What I mean by that is he didn't let it get into his pads and eat him up. Nice throw by Doxson, just over the outstretched arms of the defender.
This one's to Ed Williams, 12 more yards. Flip side of the 50 to the 48 of Wyoming.
You know, I thought, as preparing for this football game, I thought that Iowa State would have to throw the ball for at least 150 yards, and Wyoming would have to rush for 120. Williams is at the top of the screen in the slot, runs a little out pattern in the zone defense, presents himself as a nice target, a former quarterback in the state of Florida, so he has seen the other side of it in the pocket. When he runs his routes, he really recognizes zone and man defenses and makes nice adjustments.
Doxson, he's unloading it left and right. Ed Williams again, and he's tackled by Jim Talich and Janae Jackson.
Well, you know what you get going here, Drew, is Wyoming is so fearful of the running game, they've got 8 in the box. And Iowa State saying, if you're going to have 8 in the box, I'm going to throw the football. That only leaves 3 people to defend my wideouts. 8 people in the interior, only 3 in pass defense. It's like stealing. It's like taking candy from a little kid. Now they're going to force Wyoming to go with 7 in the box and see what happens. Still 8 in the box on this one.
2nd and 3, and again Doxson to put it up. And he has it to Troy Davis, and Davis will have a first down. 36-yard line. Todd Doxson is 8 of 9 throwing the football. They would have stood up and celebrated last year had they had that kind of completion percentage early in a football game.
Well, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's a couple more. If we get a wider shot, there's 8. There's a couple of defenders right on the perimeter here. Those are the guys that are going to have to make the play in the running game.
1st and 10. Davis, a burst across the 35 to the 32-yard line. So both teams now striking a bit of balance as Jay Jenkins stuck his nose in there along with Pat Larson defensively. But give 5 yards to Troy Davis. He has such great balance, and one of the reasons that McCarney thinks he does, and Joe Tiller concurred with this, he was one of the best wrestlers in the state of Florida. In fact, he was playing high school football around 160 pounds. He wrestled up at 189 pounds, and in the large school classification still took 3rd in the state. That's unbelievable.
It is. It is.
Doxson, good job by Ed Williams. Check it, it's Watley, not Ed Williams. 21, not 81. Another first down for Iowa State.
And what Doxson does so well here, he's a right-handed quarterback rolling to his left. And as a quarterback, you have to get your shoulder pads squared to the line of scrimmage so you can deliver the football. Let's see him turn his hips, square his shoulders, and deliver a strike. Nice technique and mechanics by Doxson, rolling the opposite way of his delivery. Look at those numbers, 9 of 10 for 95 yards. He's going to get that 150 yards passing quick.
Troy Davis, a big gap. Break-it tackles to the 13-yard line. Again, it's Jenkins, the outside backer, but too far down the football field for Brock Spack, the defensive coordinator for Wyoming.
Well, the thing that just embellish what you were saying about the wrestling, Drew, that's what gives him the great balance. Sometimes he looks like he's running with 3 legs instead of 2. You can't knock him off his feet. because what wrestling teaches you is to keep your weight over your hips. And when Davis runs the football, he keeps his weight over his hips. And it almost looks like it's a tripod, like he's got a third leg. He's hard to knock down.
Offset eye. Davis with the football. Davis will get it inside the 10. Dropped at the 6-yard line, about a yard short of a first down by Robbie Duncan. And we go downstairs again to Lisa Molosky. Lisa, what do you have?
Thanks to an interesting note for you. Iowa State has a 10-1 record when a Cyclone rushes for more than 200 yards. The lone loss came last season versus Colorado. Troy Davis had 203 yards, but the Cyclones lost to the Buffs 50-28. Drew?
Thanks, Lisa. And it should be mentioned, Troy Davis didn't just run the football against the lesser opponents for big yards. 200 against Colorado, over 100 against Nebraska. Davis up the middle, and he is short of a touchdown. Or is he?
I don't see any signal. They were firing the cannons, but there's no touchdown.
I think he's just short. It'll be first and goal inside the 1-yard line.
Remember now, in college football, when the knee hits the ground, just draw a line where the ball is. If the ball has not crossed the plane of the goal line, when Troy Davis's knee hits the ground, there's the ball, straight down to the ground. There's no way. That's a good call. His knee's down. The ball is short of the goal line.
First and goal. I wonder who'll get the football here. Davis over the top. Touchdown, Iowa State. Second touchdown of the game for Davis. And by the way, with 8:11 to go in the second quarter, unofficially, he has 98 yards rushing.
Oh, he's something. There's no question about that. And he averaged 31 carries a game last year. And, you know, so many times they loaded the defenses up against him. Look at the athletic ability this guy has. Pretty good surge by his offensive line, at least neutraling the defensive charge of the goal line defense by Wyoming. They nullified them root hogging up underneath. It allowed Davis to get a jump point and up and over the goal line. Nice execution.
And they will go for 2 here.
Because that missed extra point.
Because of the missed extra point. And Darren Davis is the ace back. Dotson in trouble. This thing doesn't look pretty, but he'll get in. I don't know if that was a design play, but Dotson got the 2-point conversion, and the Cyclones lead Wyoming 14-7.
I agree with you, Drew. I don't think this was a design quarterback run. I think Dotson, with his quick feet, made something out of nothing. Davis up and over. His second touchdown rushing of the night. And Dotson, nowhere to go, but he finds a little crease, takes it into the end zone. 14-7, Iowa State.
There are 101 reasons to make the drive to Jim Wagner Nissan in Ames. Some people come for our helpful salespeople. Some people come for our big selection. Some people come for our excellent service. But mostly, they come for our great prices. Jim Wagner Nissan in Ames. Make the drive and save.
The fun never ends at Prairie Meadows Racetrack and Casino. Enjoy big payoffs and fast-paced casino action with more than 1,000 hot slot machines. Bet the horses and the dogs in our state-of-the-art simulcast center. Plus, free live entertainment and mouth-watering food. With all this, is it any wonder Prairie Meadows is everybody's favorite place to play?
Prairie Meadows Racetrack and Casino. Your favorite place to play.
Tyson says I've only got one punch, my jab. Well, ask Joe Hip about that punch. Ask Tony Tucker. Look him in the face and ask him. So Tyson thinks I've only got one punch. It works fine for me.
Bruce Seldon, Mike Tyson. Liberation. Champion versus champion. Saturday, September 7th. Live on pay-per-view from the MGM Grand.
Doxson, 9 of 10 throwing the football. Troy Davis, almost 100 yards. Iowa State leads Wyoming 14-7. There is Davis, along with Dave Lapham and Lisa Miloski. I'm Drew Goodman, and the most important thing for Iowa State, their old coordinator, Steve Loney, who coached in the WAC, said, we have to hold on to the football. We have to take some time off the clock, and they did that on that drive, Dave, 95 yards.
15 plays, 6 minutes, 49 seconds. Just what the coordinators ordered. I mean, Coach Loney's going to be definitely excited about it. I mean, it's just what the game plan wanted, no question about it.
James Cole will kick it off. Richard Peace and Marcus Brigham. Brigham on the left, Peace on the right. This will be Brigham from the 3. Ooh. And he takes a wallop at the 19. Tracy Williams, starting strong safety, running under the kick.
Yeah, there's a lot of starters on special teams for both of these football teams. And Troy Davis, as we take a look at him, what a great athlete he is. 6 minutes, 49 seconds, 96-yard drive. There's a legal procedure against Wyoming. Against Iowa State. Wyoming will make them re-kick that one, I'm sure, and see if they can get better field position out of this. You know, usually a lot of times, Drew, when you have to run down there the second time, some guys are gassed a little bit. They get out of their coverage lanes, and you can pop a big one. So let's see if that takes place this time or not.
You know, the funny thing about the
offsides, 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
That's Bill Athan giving us the information. It's an all WAC crew, all Western Athletic Conference crew. One of the interesting things, the measure of speed in football has always been the 40-yard dash. Rarely, unless you're a Troy Davis or a Marcus Harris, do you run 40 yards, unless, of course, you're on the kick team.
Yeah, and you know what, Drew? Both of these guys, Harris and Davis, when you put stopwatches on them in shorts and T-shirts, you know, they have decent speed. I'll tell you, though, they have functional football speed. They still run that well with shoulder pads and helmets on. A lot of guys don't. A lot of guys don't have the functional football speed. You'll see in this game and games prior in their career, they're pulling away, running away from guys that supposedly have more speed in the 40-yard dash than they do. There's track speed and there's functional football speed with pads on.
He's got it.
And he has it big time.
He's got the whole package. Cole will kick it off deep again. This time from the 30-yard line. Boy, he hammers this thing. He's a yard deep. And Wyoming gets an extra 2 yards out of the re-kick.
You know what? That was pretty good coverage by Iowa State, because that was a low line drive kick, and they get down in a hurry.
Let's take a visit with Lisa Miloski.
Thanks, Drew. I've got another interesting note. You know, the last team to beat Nebraska during the regular season was Iowa State. November 14th, 1992. 42,000 screaming fans right here at Cyclone Stadium. Cyclones won 19-10. Since then, the Cornhuskers have won 37 straight regular season games, including one this afternoon. They beat Michigan State up pretty good. Back to you, Drew.
Yeah, that is an amazing story. 1992, last regular season game they lost, and I bet you most people around the country wouldn't know it was Iowa State. Quick one-step drop and the flip to Saroff, and he has about 7 or 8 yards. You know, Iowa State is starting to reflect the personality of their new head coach, Dan McCarney.
Yeah, and let's check him out here as they're covering. He's saying, get down, get after it. Takes the headset off. He's going to try to cover it himself. He likes what he sees. There's a bunch of guys flying around the football. I tell you what, he is living every single football moment with his team. He is into it big time.
I'm telling you, he might end up on the field if he's not careful.
That's right.
They got 7, second down and 3. Nobody home in the backfield. Walworth throwing it deep, and Williams will pick it off. Tracy Williams picked it off. Marcus Harris, the intended target. And Walworth kind of threw that one up for grabs.
He did. He forced it. He said, I'm going to throw it. I'm going to try to have my All-American make a play on it. He overthrows it. And defensively, make a nice break on the football. He's in the slot. He's the inside receiver. And all he's going to do is break down the football field, and running stride for stride with him is Tracy Williams. You got a safety working against the All-American wide receiver. That's a matchup that Wyoming wants. Wide receiver on safety, and Iowa State came up with the interception. That's a big, big takeaway.
They like to throw the fade route or the jump ball to Marcus Harris, figuring most times he's going to come down with it. At that time, here's Darren Davis to the 42-yard line of Wyoming. Robbie Duncan finally brought him down, the true freshman from Southridge High School in Miami.
I'll tell you what, it's a one-back set. Davis is going to go to the sideline and say to his older brother Troy, I can do anything that you can. Look at the gaping hole, though. Cut back, and just, I tell you, the backside guard just washed his man past the hole. There was a hole I think I might have been able to get through there, but I couldn't run like Davis, I'll tell you that.
You would have trudged for 5 or 6.
Yeah, I would have get some oxygen.
Davis again, and he breaks a couple of tackles. Wasn't pretty, got 5. Finally tripping him up, Pat Larson.
Oh,
let me tell you a quick story about these Davises. Southridge High School is where they competed.
Right.
In the history of Dade County, Florida, think about this. This is a football factory, Dade County. 2 backs over 2,000 yards in a single season.
Right.
First that man, Troy. Then 2 years later, his little brother.
His brother. Yep. Darren says, I can do anything that you can.
Doxson. He's got this one complete. Ed Williams breaks a tackle. Dives ahead, close to another first down. Brian Lee there defensively. Also Brian Brown, 13.
Brian Brown makes the tackle for Wyoming.
Great running backs and great wide receivers are measured by what they do after the first contact in a run or after the catch of the football. And the Davis brothers always gain yards after the first contact. And Harris does as a wide receiver. He also gained yards after the first contact. But I'll tell you, Big 12 opponents, you got younger brother keeping older brother fresh. What a 1-2 punch.
Inside 6 minutes to go before halftime. Troy Davis, huge hole to the 13-yard line.
Now, earlier I was saying as an offensive lineman, you have to sustain your blocks no matter where, up and down the line of scrimmage. Watch Cohen. This is on the back side. This is the All-American candidate. Watch what he does in the back side. This is not designed to go at that particular hole, but Davis breaks it back, he cuts it back, and he's Gandhi. I'll tell you what, you have to sustain your block because Davis can appear at any time.
22 trips already for Troy Davis, 114 yards. This is trip number 23, and no gain there. 94, Jim Talich stepped up from his middle backer spot and ended that play. Talich, 235-pound junior. He's the leading tackler the last 2 years, and his brother Corey was the leading tackler in 91-92. Joe Tiller just calls the Talich family when he needs a defender.
I'll tell you, and this Talich is a walk-on. You know, he's a kid that walked on, and all he did is get better, get bigger, and just now he's the man.
And this is his kind of game. He's a physical middle backer. Davis again breaks a tackle and does well to get to the line of scrimmage. Initially, Jason Dreesen had him locked up in the backfield.
Yeah, remember, Dreesen, like you said, 6'4", 250. This is a defensive tackle, and watch what Davis does. He just headbutts him, head-to-head. Davis breaks the tackle without any problem. I'll tell you, though, sliding a little bit on this grass. He's a violent cut guy, like Barry Sanders, violent cutback guy. The grass, I don't think it's tailor-made as much as the AstroTurf is for Troy Davis. He can't cut as sharply. That time his feet went out from under him.
They need the 4-yard line, 3rd down and 10. Doxson, touchdown, Iowa State. Ed Williams, the strike from Todd Doxson. Dave, that was the old blue darter. He had a little giddy up on that fastball.
He did. As the far right of the screen, a little slant pattern up the football field, get the inside release, thread the needle between the safety and the corner, and that was right between the 8 and the 1. If he threw that through a car wash, I'm not sure the ball would have gotten wet.
Maybe not. Trent Gamble couldn't do anything to stop it. make it 21. He does. And the Cyclones, with 4:06 to go in the first half, up 2 touchdowns on potent Wyoming.
I'll tell you, Doxson, one of the keys was throw the football a little bit, take some of the pressure off the Davis brothers. Doxson doing it exactly right.
Dewey Ford does treat you better. Just the smarter customers.
We have kids and we wanted a dependable car that we can sell, and we knew we could trust.
Actually, Dewey really does treat you better. I'm a first-time car buyer and I'm nervous about buying the first car. Dewey Ford, I could trust the people there to help me find a car that I needed, that was safe, dependable, and one that I liked.
Do we treat you better? We do. Dewey Ford.
Feel like a million? Play the Iowa Lottery's Daily Millions. Just take $1 and pick 6 numbers between 1 and 21. 2 red, 2 white, and 2 blue. Or let the computer pick. Match 2 or more for one of the 23 ways to win. Match all 6 and win $1 million in cash with up to 10 millionaires every day. It's easy to feel like a million because 2 red plus 2 white plus 2 blue could equal $1 million in green.
Iowa's Daily Millions.
What's to see at KD Billiard and Dart Supply?
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Slow down. Let me get a better look. Wow, they really do have a fantastic selection here.
That's right. KD Billiard and Dart Supply turns your game room into a fun room.
KD Billiard and Dart Supply, where we take playing the game seriously.
Big 12 Conference football is brought to you by Southwest Airlines with low fares on every flight, every seat, every day.
Section 7, row 1, seat 10. Claim your prizes. Winners need to report.
Ed Williams gets in the end zone on a 14-yard strike from Todd Doxson. Iowa State leading Wyoming 21-7. Last year, Iowa State threw the football for an average of 130 yards a game, 10 touchdowns through the air all season long. Todd Doxson is having a huge game throwing the football, and Dan McCarney said, we need to have balance. We can't have Troy Davis just rush for 2,000 yards. He's got it right now, and Cole kicks it right through the end zone, almost touched that new building, the Jacobson facility.
Well, you know, Troy Davis said the same thing. I'd rather rush for 400 yards and have a winning record and get into a bowl game. And it's truly amazing. Iowa State has run 41 snaps to Wyoming's 20. They're 2-1 on plays from the line of scrimmage. The time of possession has to be dramatic in Iowa State's favor. Look at this one. 61-yard drive on 7 snaps, 3 minutes off the clock. They're controlling the ball at the line of scrimmage. They're running twice as many plays, and they're probably chewing the clock up, probably a 2-to-1 ratio on time of possession as well.
And should mention, this is not a chop suey defense. Last year, Wyoming, 6-5 overall in the WAC, 19 starters back, and Wyoming had the #2 defense in the offensive-minded WAC a year ago. So Walworth sets up the screen, and he goes to Sexton, and Sexton allowed a first down and really paid for it. Kemp Knighton got him around the ankles, and he did the acrobatic flip, and Knighton's pumped up about it.
I'll tell you, this gets about a 9.5 from the Russian judge in the Olympics. This is an incredible flip right here. Watch Knighton come in, take the legs out from under him. Boom. That's a nice little, I don't know what you'd call it, maybe off the pommel horse, a nice little flip. Didn't land on the feet, though, so you can't give it a perfect 10.
No, but you thank the equipment manufacturer for those thigh guards.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, just short of a first down, a second down in inches. And they'll go to Brigham, and he'll have the first down and a little more than that. Iowa State grabbing him there first was Greg Schoen, the 280-pound junior who's up 25 pounds from last year. Iowa State knows to compete in the Big 12, to take a step forward, you have to play smash-mouth football. They have Troy Davis. They can do that. They have that huge offensive line. But defensively, they're going to have to tackle running backs when you play the Nebraskas, the Colorados, the Texas Techs now.
Right. And you know what? As a team, Drew, they've gotten in the weight room and improved their team strength dramatically.
3:35 to go in the second quarter. This is Suroff, and he'll get about 5 or 6. Tackle made by DeJuan Anderson, a sophomore. 7 new starters defensively tonight for Iowa State from a year ago.
Take a look here, Drew. Empty backfield. Nobody in the backfield. A lot of pressure on the 5 offensive linemen to pass block, but it's a 1-step drop and get rid of it. You don't want to take a 3-step, 5-step drop necessarily with an empty backfield, because if somebody leaks through, there's no back to pick up the blitz or to help an offensive lineman that was defeated at the line of scrimmage. Empty backfield once again.
2nd and 5. Wall work. Marcus Harris right at the sticks at the 42. Should have a first down. James Elmore made the tackle. Wyoming, 2:49 to go. And this is a normal situation for Wyoming. They're used to playing high-scoring affairs. We can't stress that enough. In fact, last week against Idaho, in their debut as a Division 1A team, Idaho racked up over 600 yards of offense and led in the football game late in the 3rd quarter, 31-19. No problem for Joe Tiller.
Exactly. And to begin that football game last week, I mean, they struggled throwing the football. They really had a big problem. Wallwork was 2 for 7 in the 1st quarter.
Wallwork QB draw. And he somehow found an opening between the big fellas and got 6 yards to the 48. Again, Elmore and also Mike Linkavage in the neighborhood defensively for Iowa State. And Wyoming will burn a timeout. 2:20 to go before halftime. The Cyclones with 3 long drives. 96, 75, and 61. 21-7 they lead. We're back after this.
Big 12 college football is brought to you by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. You live life, you get thirsty. Life is a sport. Drink it up. By McCoy's Building Supply Centers. By 104 Plus Octane Boost. Performance guaranteed. By Sonic, where we invite you to drive in for a change. And by Southwestern Bell.
Benson Buick will soon be moving to their new location on Hickman Road. We feel that this will be a premier facility to serve our customers. Right now, Benson Buick is clearing out all of our models at our Ingersoll location so we don't have to move them to the new location. This means tremendous savings for you on a huge selection of your favorite Buicks, including Skylark, Century, Regal, Riviera, LeSabre, and Park Avenue. It's your opportunity to save at Benson Buick, 1717 Ingersoll.
Tyson says I've only got 1 punch, my jab. Well, ask Joe Hip about that punch. Ask Tony Tucker. Look him in the face and ask him. So Tyson thinks I've only got 1 punch. It works fine for me.
Bruce Seldon, Mike Tyson. Liberation. Champion versus champion. Saturday, September 7th. Live on pay-per-view from the MGM Grand.
Wyoming 21-7. Joe Tiller's from Toledo, Ohio. If he had his druthers, he'd run it every play.
You still have to run the football to be successful. But, yeah, you're going to see the ball in the air a lot, and I don't expect that will change because the people in the West are used to it. I know our own fans are used to it. And the fellow that was there before me ran the wishbone and was fired, and I will assure you that you will never see Wyoming line up in the wishbone as long as I'm there.
Joe Tiller, his club moving it now right before halftime. Marcus Harris with his 5th catch of the first half, the All-American, to the 45-yard line. 21-7, Iowa State leading Wyoming with Lisa Molosky and Dave Lapham. I'm Drew Goodman. We welcome folks who are watching Florida-Georgia Southern game to Ames, Iowa, and Florida 62-14.
White
huge surprise.
A seat squirmer.
1st and 10 for Wyoming. They need to strike before the end of the half. Brigham now lines up on a wing. Empty backfield. This is complete to Suroff. And he scoots up the sideline. You know, he's got pretty good wheels.
He does.
David Suroff, the senior from Beverly Hills High School in California.
Well, they got the mismatch they wanted because they had Derek Clark trying to stay with the A-back. There he is right here. Watch who ends up matching up with the A-back. It's a linebacker. trying to go underneath in man coverage. They run a little bit of a pick by pattern, and the linebacker Clark he just can't run. I mean, he just can't keep up with Serov. It's a mismatch, and Wyoming got it.
It's unfair. Trips to the near side. Four-man rush. Walworth throws underneath, right through the hands of Len Sexton, the running back who split out to the top.
You know, one thing, here's a quarterback, Josh Walworth, that's kind of a Huey Lewis, California, surf, hang 10 dude kind of guy, easy, free spirit. But on game day, his preparation for Saturday is as good as anybody's. He's competitive. He knows how to throw the football. He knows when to throw the football. He knows where to throw the football. And he's a leader. And they really respond to this kid, Walworth, at quarterback.
He's 14 of 18. Second down and 10 for Wyoming. Walworth will tuck it up. And he slides down at the 21-yard line. He's a pretty good athlete also. We've talked about Todd Doxson being a good athlete. Walworth will throw first and hang in there as long as he can, but he has the ability to use his legs also.
And he does. And one of the key to the success for both of these quarterbacks this year is to stay healthy. Last year, Walworth, he separated a rib, and he had some real problems coming back from that. We've talked about the injuries to Doxson. I mean, he had a real bad ankle injury last year that killed his season.
Third down and 4. Empty backfield blitz coming. Walworth throws it away. He sensed the blitz coming on the weak side. Derek Clark, an inside backer, lined up on the edge.
Well, Clark is a linebacker with 4.6 speed, and he weighs like 230 pounds. This is the upgrade that we were talking about at this position. He comes off the corner, the slot linebacker, unblocked, untouched. It's recognized. Here he comes. Puts the helmet right between the shoulder blades, but the ball is gone. Walworth, he said, you know, I'm going to get rid of the football. You're not going to get sacked, but I know I'm going to get punished.
Corey Weedle, who's missed all of 4 kicks in his career. This will be from 39 yards, excuse me. And he's got it through. Mr. Automatic, 7 of 7 on the year. And it is now a 21-10 game. Wyoming back within 11, but Iowa State clamped down.
I tell you, he's 27 for 31 in his career. 7 for 7 this season. Good snap. Everybody protects the inside out. Good snap, good hold, good kick. That's 3 points on the board. There were 3 phases to it. The snap, the hold, and the kick, and they all are executed to perfection here. And, you know, a kicker knows as soon as he hits the football, he can tell by the feel of his foot on the football, he's got a chance of drilling it through the uprights, and he knew that it was good. There was no doubt in his mind, once he made contact, it was going to split the goalposts.
A reminder, coming up at halftime, we will take you to our College Football Today studios. Randy Sparagi operating the seat today. Stats, highlights, everything else you need to know from around the country. That's coming up at halftime. 1:01 left in the second quarter. The Cyclones 21-10. They've possessed the football. They've scored with it when they've had it, and they've kept Josh Walworth off the field with the exception of 3 possessions. And Wyoming's 2 of 3, but one of those 2 that they scored just a field goal. And this one back deep, and Troy Davis lost the football. Kevin Wilson gobbled it up and put a knee down. So Iowa State will have it at the 20 with 1:01 to go.
I think Iowa State will probably play it relatively cozy, Drew. You know, if they pop a big run, they may get into their 2-minute drill. They're throwing the ball so successfully tonight, though, and they have a quarterback with a lot of confidence right now, Doxson. I mean, last year, Iowa State, you'd say there's no doubt they're going to just basically run the clock out and run into the locker room for halftime. Now you got an 11-point lead, though. You don't want to turn it over here. You don't want to face any catastrophe. So I wouldn't be surprised they cozied it up a little bit, but boy, it looks like they're going to spread the field with 3 wides, though. You might see him fire and fall back here.
3 wides, Troy Davis, the lone setback. And he gets the call. And he's grabbed from behind by number 90, Jeff Leonard, a junior from San Ramon, California. One of the things about Iowa State, Joe Tiller thought, and Joe's very honest, he said, I think we have a big advantage in that we've already played one game, and the old coach's cliche that you improve the most between week 1 and week 2. In Iowa State, this is their debut. They've been nearly flawless, though.
They really have. Very few penalties. They've executed well. I haven't seen many brain cramps in terms of assignment errors where guys are, running jailbreak to the quarterback. They've blocked well up front. It's been a nice performance by the Cyclones.
This could be the final snap of the first half. Davis will get a couple of more yards down to the 25-yard line.
You know what, Drew, that Wyoming wanted to hold Davis to 150 yards. That was their goal. He's got about close to 120 at the half. I mean, he's on track now. He's on track for a 236-yard game, 118 at the half.
He's also on track to carry it 52 times.
Baby.
Good football game going in the state of Iowa. We're in Ames in central Iowa, and it's 21-10. Cyclones leading the Cowboys. Dan McCarney has to be very pleased with how his team played in the first half. And Lisa Molosky is trying to corral Dan McCarney, and as soon as she does, we're going to go downstairs to him, and she's got him. Lisa.
Coach, you've got to be very pleased with the first half, especially that nice stick by the defense prevented a touchdown there in that last drive.
Well, it was a big play by our kids, and this is a tremendous offense we're facing out here today. We got great respect for them. We've got to do a little better job of trying to get a little collapse and pressure on that quarterback, but I'm real pleased with the effort of my kids.
Coach, I've just got to say, you're soaking wet. Have you been playing the game?
Well, trying to. No, if I came out and played, I'd end up in the body cast, so no, I didn't.
No, good luck.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Coach. Back to you, Drew.
All right, Lisa, you're absolutely right. And don't believe him for a moment. He wants to get out there and suit up. 21-10, Iowa State at home, leading Wyoming. Let's go out to our college football today's studios. Here's Randy Sparagi.
All right, thanks, Drew. Welcome, everybody, to our College Football Today halftime report. I'm Randy Sparagi. Lots going on around the country. We'll begin in Lincoln, Nebraska. The top-ranked Huskers opened the season against Michigan State. Last year, Nebraska whipped the Spartans 50-10. Well, what a difference a year does it make. Let's take you to Lincoln. You'll see it, the Big Red had it working all day. First quarter, Scott Frost on the keeper. He's in. Huskers with an early 7-0 lead. 2 series later, Mike Fullman back to receive the punt, breaks a few tackles, heads for the outside, and look out. Couple of key blocks. He stumbles a bit, stays on his feet, and he's going to go 62 yards. And yes, Excedrin Headache, number 55 for the Spartans today, as they lose it 55-14. Huskers have now won 26 straight games. Colorado and Colorado State, that game coming up later. The Buffaloes haven't lost to Colorado State since 1986. 8th-ranked Texas hosting New Mexico State in Austin. First quarter, James Brown hitting Curtis Jackson on the slant. Falls over the goal line. It's a touchdown for the Horns. Still in the first. Priest Holmes up and over. Longhorns with a 14-0 lead at the end of one. And yeah, hook 'em Horns. It's now 24-7 there in the second quarter. Kansas State and Indiana State. 10-0 K-State leading it in the second quarter. Oklahoma State and Texas Tech got together today at Texas Stadium. That was Byron Hanspar. Hoping for a great day, and he got it. In for the touchdown there, then he breaks a couple of tackles, turns on the Jets here. It's a 72-yard touchdown run, giving Tech a 10-0 lead. And they go on to win it 31-3. Big day for Hanspar, 272 yards rushing. That breaks the Texas Tech school record and the Texas Stadium record previously held by SMU's Eric Dickerson. TCU in Norman, Oklahoma to face those Sooners. Horned Frogs meant business in this one. Jeff Dover to Jason Tucker. He's got it, and he's going to get in. A 52-yard scoring play. TCU, what an upset. In Norman, 20-7 was the final in that one. Baylor and Louisiana Tech, they are early on. First quarter score, it's now 14-0, the Baylor Bears on top. We'll be sending you back to Ames, Iowa. Iowa State leads Wyoming 21-10 at the half. But first, we got more top 25 scores and highlights to show you. We'll be back with that after a short timeout. Stay with us.
Remember the day when you were finally this tall? Suddenly you had the freedom to go places you never could before. The sky was the limit. But it was always more fun to go there with a friend. That's why Southwest Airlines brought back Friends Fly Free. Just buy a ticket at our full unrestricted fare, and a friend flies with you free.
Wanna go again?
Southwest Airlines.
Together we are better than we could ever be alone. We'll be a team forever. The world is ours to own. You're a part of me, the heart of me. Dr. Pepper, you're a part of me.
We bought the business from Jimmy's father. That's why he pushes himself. He doesn't want to disappoint the old man. His back began giving him grief last month. He'd take Advil, plug along, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough. So his doctor said to try a leave. Take it every 8 to 12 hours.
No, I like that.
Winds up at the end of the day, a leave is stronger relief than a dose of Advil. A leave was all it took. This year, he may even take a day off.
You take enough for both of us.
Believe. All day strong, all day long.
Steve Young for Power Bar.
Who hasn't eaten a candy bar at the movies? When you're sitting back watching a movie, a candy bar's fine. But life isn't one big movie. That's why there's Power Bar energy bars. They're low in fat, made from healthy foods, packed with nutrients, and deliver lots of complex carbs for sustained energy. So if you want to be ready for the challenges of life, rely on a Power Bar energy bar. It's real energy for the real world.
Weeknights on the Discovery Channel. Where's the wildest place you could go? What's the cutest you've ever seen? Weeknights. Weeknights. Gather with a gang and see how wild it gets. A different side of a dark continent. Out of Africa on Wild Discovery. Weeknights at 8 Eastern and Pacific on the Discovery Channel. And this fall, the world becomes a wilder place. As Wild Discovery goes 7 nights a week. It would be unnatural to watch anything else.
In the spring, they say, a young man's fancy turns to thoughts of love. Right around August, whatever the heck a fancy is starts thinking about football. Because on this hunk of real estate, character and guts still count. And success is measured by 4 zebras and 10 yards of change. Sure, there's more to life than football. But not much. Ow.
Welcome back to our College Football Today halftime report. Heisman Trophy candidate Peyton Manning began his college career back in '94. His first game was against UCLA. The Bruins beat the Vols that day. So today, Manning and the rest of the folks in Knoxville looking for a little payback. Let's take you there. First quarter, first play of the game, Cade McNown hits Skip Hicks. He breaks a couple of tackles. He's going to go 30 yards. That set up a 50-yard field goal by Bjorn Merton. And that's where they stand right now in the first quarter. UCLA with that 3-0 lead. Bob Toledo making his head coaching debut with the Bruins. Third-ranked Florida State taking on Dookie. Second quarter. D. Feaster fields a punt at his 41-yard line. Directs some traffic. Cuts back inside here. And he's going to go 59 yards on the return. All the way in for the score. Florida State, no problem with Duke this afternoon. 44-7 was the final. Noles celebrating their golden anniversary. This is their 100th season. Number 4, Florida, looking to flex its muscles against Georgia Southern. First Florida drive. Danny Werfel hooks up with Rydell Anthony. 32-yard play, 7-0 Gators. Just like last week, Florida's defense getting into the act. Cameron Davis comes up with the fumble. The big fella's going to rumble. 38 yards for the touchdown. 28-7 Florida, and they just rolled the rest of the way. Danny Werfel, 15 of 16, 267 yards and 2 touchdowns. Louisville taking on 7th-ranked Penn State. Curtis Ennis picking up right where he left off against SC. 20 yards down the sidelines there. 4 plays later, Ennis, again to the left side, takes it in from 4 yards out. Penn State wins this one easily, 24-7. Ennis finished with 104 yards rushing and a touchdown. Number 9, Syracuse, opening its season against North Carolina. Good battle at the Carrier Dome. That's Maurice McGregor with the 1-yard dive. Tar Heels with an early 7-0 lead. Second quarter, Chris Keldorf hits Nay Brown 3 yards over the middle for the touchdown. It was 17-0 Tar Heels at that point, but Syracuse making a game of it. It's now 17-10. They're in the fourth quarter. 10th-ranked Ohio State cooking a little rice today in Columbus. Pepe Pearson scores one of his 2 touchdowns from 7 yards out. New Ohio State quarterback Stanley Jackson hits David Boston, and he does the rest. 58 yards for the score, and the Buckeyes just roll. Check this score. 70-7. Rice never should have made that trip. The Citadel taking on the Canes down in Miami. 52-6. The final on that one, Ryan Clement, 13 of 14, 196 yards, 3 touchdowns for the Canes. We've got more top 25 scores and highlights on the way, but first, let's take a look at some of the other scores from around the country. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Serious damage to your engine can happen during startups when your engine is cold. So for a motor oil to protect your engine, it must get to work fast. Exxon Superflow Synthetic Blend does. It also protects better against thermal breakdown, yet is less expensive than full synthetics. A difference you can see. Exxon Superflow Synthetic Blend. Protection beyond conventional oils.
It's not sleepy time down south anymore. From Kentucky to the Gulf Coast, from Texas to the Carolinas, business is growing and investment opportunities are springing up right in our own backyard. Morgan Keegan, the South's premier investment firm, brings information on all these opportunities to your doorstep. They find regional stocks and bonds that are tomorrow's blue chips. That's why smart Southerners turn to Morgan Keegan for investment advice. Morgan Keegan, capital for the South.
Golf can be a wonderful game, but to hit those long tee shots, solid fairway approaches, or to get out of trouble, sometimes it takes tips from the top. Now, PGA professional D.A. Wybring can help. Just ask Tour Pro Justin Leonard.
Tips from the top will lower your score, and I endorse it for golfers of all levels.
The award-winning Tips from the Top video. Order now, 800-804-PRIME.
The power. The punishment, the pain, the ultimate sports spectacular. Now you can relive the excitement on home video with Top Rank's greatest knockouts. Volumes 1 and 2, together on one full-length cassette. Legends like Hagler, Hearn, Arguello, Duran. 22 knockouts that changed boxing history. The courage, the champions, and the cheap shots. This is non-stop action, up close and in your face. Call now to order. The winner by a knockout. Top Rank's greatest knockouts, volumes 1 and 2. Together only $19.98. Don't miss the bell. Call now.
Call now to order Top Rank's greatest knockouts. This video makes the perfect gift. Sorry, no CODs. For faster delivery, please have your credit card ready. Call 1-800-592-1222. That's 1-800-592-1222.
Welcome back to our College Football Today halftime report. 13th ranked Northwestern has a tough act to follow. Last year, the Wildcats had a perfect Big Ten season, and that got them to the Rose Bowl, their first bowl appearance in 47 years. Now the Cats are going for back-to-back winning seasons, and they haven't done that in 25 years. Northwestern going up against Wake Forest this afternoon. Picking up first quarter, John Lewis pinballed into the end zone here. That gave Wake Forest a 13-10 lead at the half, but Northwestern's come back to take the lead. Darnell Autry's got 2 touchdowns, one from 3 yards, one from 5 yards out. Southern Miss looking for another upset, taking on the Tide. Second quarter, Freddie Kinchins finds Marcel West 25 yards for the Bama touchdown. That put the Tide up 17-3. Alabama goes on to win it 20-10. Virginia Tech and Akron. They may go into extra innings in this one. It's 8-8 at the half. Houston and LSU. First ever meeting between these two schools. LSU up 7-3 early on in the first quarter. Fresno State making the trip east to face Auburn. First quarter, Damian Craig to Tyrone Goodson. That's a touchdown. Tigers get on the board first. Then it's Fred Beasley getting some good blocking. He's going to take it in from 15 yards out. Auburn with the early lead. And, well, they haven't given up that lead. It's now 42-0 in the second quarter. Damian Craig, 2 touchdown passes. He's got 2 touchdown runs. Pac-10 versus the Big Ten. in Champaign. Southern Cal against Illinois, fourth quarter, it's all SC. Matt Koffler to R.J. Soward, 97 yards, the longest reception in SC history. The Trojans win this one in a big way. 55-3, Fighting Illini haven't scored a touchdown in 12 quarters. Another Big Ten, Pac-10 battle in Iowa City. Iowa hosting Arizona. Tied at 7 in the second quarter. Brady Batten blindsided. Loose ball recovered by Matt Hughes. It's Iowa's football. On the second play of the drive, Matt Sherman hits Damon Gibson on the crossing pattern. 18 yards for the touchdown. Iowa holds on to win this one. 21-20 was the final. Virginia against Central Michigan. They're at the half. Cavaliers with a 20-point lead. Still to come, the second half between Wyoming and Iowa State. But first, we're coming back to wrap up our halftime report. Stay with us, folks.
Goes wrong when raw.
Thank you very much.
As you watch exclusive footage declassified and released here for the very first time. Order your copy of Final Approach and go where few pilots have ever been before.
Call now to order a special preview video of the entire Challenger Flight series for only $5 and get these aviator sunglasses free. Call now.
The first half has been brought to you by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler, by Head & Shoulders, because great hair can't have flakes, and by Discovery Channel. Explore your world.